All right, you're watching my 3 weeks out training weekend. This week was a doozy. It was tough. The weights all week were really heavy. Started off with a 3x5 with 470 on squats. I feel like these moved pretty well, and I've been trying at least as much as I can to make sure that my depth is looking better, which I feel like it is. It's something I'm going to work on more in my next training block, but I think for right now, just given the little to none, in fact, I want to emphasize no, zip zero, stingy but De Niro, mobility work that I'm doing, I feel very stiff. I feel like these are pretty good for me, and I'm happy with that. Next, moved on to some bench, so another 3x5 here with 275. Bench has been feeling pretty good for the most part. As I mentioned last video, I've been dealing with a little bit of soreness, maybe even some slight tendonitis in my left shoulder, pec, and elbow region. I think the elbows are due to squats because I've really been trying to grip the bar a lot tighter and really make sure I'm packing my shoulder blades down. And just as the weight's gotten heavier and heavier, and as we've really kind of stepped it up, getting towards this meet, I feel like it's just getting a little bit beat up. Then from there, moved on to some Romanian deadlifts. Now, I know a lot of people say that's not a Romanian deadlift because you're doing it from the floor, and I agree. But as you can see, the bench is loaded, so I'm actually doing this as a superset. And I like this better because I can use some bands as well to really help pull my hips back. Even though the weights aren't super heavy, strong English, it really makes me feel it more in my hamstring. So I'm happy with that, and it makes me hip hinge a little bit better. So the actual working sets on bench, again, we're at 275 here. This is tempo work. So the tempo work here was a 4x2, and it's a 2-1-0 tempo. And again, those have been feeling pretty good as well. In fact, they feel better than the day ones do. Moving on now to day 3, which you're going to see comp squats. So 535 was my top single. It called for 1 at 8. I felt like this was actually a little bit undershot. I rated this at a 7.5, so that was pretty good. But from there, had a 3x3 with 500 pounds, which absolutely wiped me out. These killed me. They didn't really look good. They definitely didn't feel good. But again, it's one of those things where I know I'm capable of the work, and it's a matter of just going in and doing it. And we're so close to the finish line that I just kind of bite my tongue and make sure I get it done, no matter how awful it feels for me on that particular day. Then moved on to day 4, had some heavy singles of deadlift at 2x1, but called for 8.5. Ended up doing 545 here, which felt really good, so bumped it up to 575. And I felt like these were at 8.5 and even maybe a little bit more. Just a little bit slow off the ground, but I can grind these out if need to, which I don't like to do, but it is what it is. And finally, last but not least, my top single of bench on the week. Actually had a couple of these at 300, and those all moved well as well. So in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.